what's up? I'm just here pestering whoever clicks on this video. So, I've been playing Pokemon for a couple of days. I have been dealing with a lot of stuff lately, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But you know, who hasn't lately? So that got me thinking of playing Pokemon is something that I occasionally do, like once every couple of years. That I just get the urge to play that game, and the reason why I brought up the thing about going through some stuff lately is because there are certain things that are like comfort things. I want to call them that like sort of serve you as unwinding. You just use them to sort of relax and feel some sort of comfort. And the Pokemon games are sort of like that to me, are one of the things that served like that for me. Ever since I was a kid, I actually remember in those games. I'm not gonna talk about anything beyond like Gen 2 or whatever. I have Sapphire, but I can't remember anything about it. This video is gonna be completely just about Gen 1 and 2 because those are the games that I know. I remember discovering the original games back when I was like 10 or something, 9 years old, 10 or whatever, and started to understand them and just like falling like enamored with the concept and all that. I still have the original magazines where I saw that gold and silver were going to come out, and getting really excited. And long story short, it took me a couple of years to actually save money from my lunch money, and I actually bought both of the games. I don't remember it at the same time, but I remember ever since I was a kid. I already had yellow. I had blue, but it got stolen. And I had yellow, and then I bought gold and silver, and I was just mind blown with it. I couldn't get enough of it. And those are actually the same cartridges that I'm playing right now. And so going back to the subject, I was playing. I'm not even very far into the game, and then I start seeing things, that I kind of forgot about, but those games are like tattooed in my brain. I usually don't play video games too much anymore because I don't have the time. I usually put priorities, and video games are very low in the list of priorities that I do during a day. So I barely ever do. If I do, I'll play like Tetris or something, some game that is gonna take me like 20 minutes to unwind or something, if I even play a video game at all. Just a quick pick up and play. So even though RPGs are one of my favorite genre, like top 3 favorite genre ever, I barely ever play them anymore because they're not pick up and play, except something like Pokemon, like the original Gen 1 and 2, because those are games that I played so much when I was a kid that are just like ingrained in my brain, and even when I forget, I immediately start to remember everything, and that's exactly what happened. So I was playing, and then I started seeing things, and I started to remember, and that's the thing that gave me the idea to make this video, to talk about this. That got me to realize things that I thought about when I was a kid, but I wasn't really like super aware of it. I wouldn't put too much mind into it, but now I do. And it's like how many useless items are in at least in the original Gen 1 and 2 games. I don't know anything about the later ones. I'm not gonna talk about those. I was just like realizing, like, what the fuck, man? These are just like waste of space. Shit. And so let's get on with it, because I want to make a list. I'm actually doing it more by memory, because I kind of know this game pretty well, and I haven't played through the whole thing. I just want to make this video real quick. As I said, I was doing it by memory, and I was like, this item was super useless. This item was super useless, and then I started to like dig up like more things, because I realized how many things are in the game, how many items. And for example, I started remember the apricorns. Is that the name? With the ball, and then there's the balls, and the battle items, and you got your Poke Gear. Does that count? I guess. I mean, that counts sort of as an item. You start to unveil so many things. So I made a condensed list of just 5 items. I'm gonna just concentrate on things that you can use in battle. The main core of the game, catching Pokemon and battling. If I'm missing something, probably, but I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start with the one item that I never liked as a kid, and now that I think about it as an adult, I just think it's even more wasteful. And simply that I feel that's so useless. I mean, fuck. That item is the ice heal. So, the ice heal. I mean, you are, first of all, how many times during your gameplay do you actually get frozen? It's so rare for it to happen. And I was going to put it higher, and then I thought about removing it from the list because then I thought, well, when you actually get frozen, it's actually one of the worst things that can happen in the game. But it's so rare. Most of the times, it's you can go through a whole playthrough from start to finish of the game and never suffer from being frozen, like, ever, not even once. The reason why I chose to put it as the sort of quote unquote most useful of the most useless is, because it can actually save you. But the reason why I think it's useless is, one, as I said, because it's so rare for freeze to happen, ever. And also, second is because very early in the game you have access to full heal, and when you have full heal, I mean, full heal heals everything. So you have ice heal there, an item that you barely ever gonna use if you're ever even going to use it, and you just have like items just like stocking up in your backpack. Usually around more than halfway through the game, your backpack is already really full and you don't realize it. You lose track of it and you try to pick up an important item, and then your backpack is full, and then you're like, ugh, what? I never, as a kid and even now, I never liked throwing away items. And you can sell them, but sometimes you're like in a cave or something. Luckily, your Pokemon, and at least in Generation 2, Gold and Silver, they can carry shit, so you can give it to somebody to carry it, but sometimes they're already carrying something, and you can sell it. It's not a lot of money, but it's just a pain in the ass. I don't like it, and it's just like a really really useless item that I don't like. But it's kind of useful if you ever get frozen and you only have that, but I doubt it because you're only gonna have full heal, and that like saves us a lot of space, and it just works for everything. So I don't like ICU. So the second one that I want to talk about, and for several years when I was a kid, I actually never understood what that was, and I probably played Pokemon around for about how much, like 8 years or something, 6, 8 years, whatever, without actually knowing what that did. I never bothered to really know what that did until later when I start to really think about it, like right now, and being like, huh, wait a minute, and that is dire hit. So dire hit is supposed to increase your chance of landing a critical hit, right? But how many? Am I the only one who never really cared for that? And I was never somebody who was willing to sacrifice a turn to have a chance to make an attack critical, which is something that is barely ever gonna happen. And I always felt that critical hits is just like a waste of time, sort of. Not a waste of time, but it's something that I never really care for. I never depended on that, so it's like I think I can remember exactly how many times I've used it ever in all the years that I've played Pokemon, and it's probably like twice. I'm 33 years old. I haven't been playing Pokemon all those years, but sometimes I spent like I think the longest that I spent without playing Pokemon is like 8 years or something. 8, almost 10 years probably without playing those games. But still, when I was a kid, I played them a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And even when I was a teenager, I played them a lot too. And I never used it, and I never cared for it. It just increases your chance to make a critical hit. But really, who cares? I doubt anybody cares. I don't talk to people who play Pokemon, but I doubt anybody actually uses this or gives a fuck about it. I don't give a fuck about it. So that's it. Dire hit. Sorry, you're kind of useless. So the third item, I'm gonna consider it sort of a thing that you might say no, it's not, but I just want to put it there because it always kind of irritated me. That item is the lure ball. and I'm gonna tell you what it irritated me so much when I was a kid. So the lure ball, so in gold and silver, they introduced the, how do you pronounce that? I've never pronounced that out loud. Apricorn? That's it, right? So you have to collect them. They grow from very specific plants around the map, and you have to wait for every 24 hours to get them. So you very slowly collect them. You have to wait for 24 hours for another one to grow back, and then you have to take him to, what's his name, Kurt, and to make you a ball out of him. And when you're a kid, when I played the game, I didn't have vultures or anything. That's what infuriated me even more when I was a kid. I didn't have a vulture or anything. I played him the way you're supposed to just play games. Just play him. I mean, I wouldn't have minded a walkthrough, a magazine, but I didn't have it, and I just played them. And you have to sort of guess, and you have to take him to this guy, and he takes another 24 hours to make you the fucking ball, and so you make it. And it's one of the balls, and I always thought some of them were kind of useless, but I feel that the lure ball, for as far as I can remember, is the most useless one. Is the one that I always felt like, what's the deal with this one? Why is it even here? So it grows from what, blue apricorn or something? I don't remember right now. I'm not gonna look up. I'm not gonna look it up. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. I'm gonna leave that. It just came out of nowhere. I told you, just like having fun with this video. So I'm gonna leave it there. It's funny. So you have this fucking thing. It takes 24 hours. You use it. You're not sure what you're supposed to do with that ball, and then it's supposed to be good. To it works. It increases your chance to catching a Pokemon catch by a fishing rod. So it's a thing that you have to wait so much from a very specific plant in the game that you have to remember where it is, and you have to look for it, and you have to wait all that, and then you have to slowly build like two. Takes you, just imagine if you're doing it daily by, if you doing it regularly, it takes you 2 days to get one. I mean, you can sort of hack the game with the clock to make it faster again, but I never used to do that when I was a kid. I would just play, and just so you can catch like a fucking Magikarp or a Goldeen or whatever, you can have a higher rate of catching a fucking Krabby. And I never really felt the difference, to be honest. I always felt that they would. I thought, well, okay, maybe I can catch them with like a single ball, but it's not the case. They escape anyways. You have to do the exact same procedure. You have to fucking weak them and all that, weaken them and all that. You have to fight them, and you have to lower their stats. And sometimes they escape. I remember playing as a kid. They would escape. I would throw the ball at a fucking like horsey or something, and it would fucking break free anyways. And I would be like super pissed because it took me like 4 days to to get two balls to get 4 days to make two balls. I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. And I never fucking liked it. It's just simple as that. Sucks. Anyways, it sucks. Moving on. X speed. So the X like items, I never used them. I don't know if anybody actually uses them. I never used them, and I always thought they were all kind of useless because they like increase your defense, attack, or whatever. And I was never willing to sacrifice one turn to like use an item like that. I would always just like use potions, full heal, or the flute or whatever. And I was like, why am I using like X attack or whatever? As a kid, I would never use them. Later on, when I started to like know the game a little bit, I would sort of use them, but I've barely during my whole gameplay. I would probably use them like once or twice, maybe tops. Maybe at the with the Elite Four when I first fight them or whatever, when you're not super OP. So, but I usually use like X attack, X defense, or X special or whatever. I never used X speed. I never really gave a fuck. I never used it. I never liked it. I think it's useless. and it's just like I don't know if anybody actually uses them, but they're kind of expensive too. And it's like I never gave a fuck, to be honest. I don't think anybody does. If people do, I mean, okay, fine, but not me. I don't give a fuck. But the final one, top one, most useless item that I think it's like, I mean, that's not what I think. That's a fact. The most useless, pitiful item, the most crappiest item that ever exists, at least in Gen 1 and 2. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I declare it now. I'm the number one authority on that now, and I declare it to be the worst item ever because it just takes up space and it's useless and you never use it. Is Burn Heal. I mean, Burn Heal is like how many? I was talking about Ice Heal and getting frozen. So at least when you get frozen, you can't move. So it's very critical. Your Pokemon can't move unless the ice melts away. If you receive like a fire attack, or if you just like, or the ice like breaks apart, and you can spend the whole battle. You can get defeated and never be able to move. So that's bad. But burn, not only, I mean, first of all, how many times do you get burned during your gameplay? Most likely you're never gonna get burned. It's an item that sounds very useful, very cool when you just write it down, but then in practice, how many times you get burned during your gameplay? Mostly never. That's the item that actually gave me the idea to make this video, because I actually got burned and I was like, wow, I got burned, and I was sort of mesmerized that I was like, oh wow, it actually happened. The rare side of a burn happening. Wow. So it's like, I mean, getting burned is like poison. You sort of each turn you lose a little bit of HP, and I think like something decreases, like your attack or something. I'm not sure, but it's so insignificant. I've never really seen a difference, to be honest. I usually win regardless. It's like poison, but more rare and very, again, as I said, with the ice heal, you get full heal item very early in the game, making burn heal useless because full heals everything, anything. And burn heal is just like a thing that just stays in your backpack with no other purpose ever besides getting sold very cheaply or getting tossed away, which I never like to do. I usually just sell them, and they don't pay you enough for it. And it's like fucking burn heal is like sort of like, hey there, burn heal here. You want to burn? I'm here to do my job. Get out of here, Burn Hill. No one needs you. You're just taking up space. Get out of here. And you got like, no, I got full heal already since like third city or whatever. I don't need you. Get the fuck out of here. So it's the most pathetic thing ever. It's like the most pathetic item ever. Nobody needs it ever. Like, who uses it? Who needs a burn heal? I mean, nobody. I remember as a kid, I would always get irritated whenever I would find an item laying around and it was a burn heal, and I was like, oh. I mean, I'd rather had anything besides. I remember most of the times I would rather find like Voltorbs and like the plants or whatever that get a burn heal, because Voltorbs or Electros or like Geodudes or whatever you would find in like hidden Pokeballs at least gave you experience. Burn heal doesn't do anything. You're just gonna use full heal. I mean, who cares about burn heal? Nobody. No, I don't. So let me see. I've been talking to for long enough. I just wanted to like overkill the uselessness and like lameness of Burn Hill. I'm kind of satisfied now. I think I've said everything that I wanted to say. I'm kind of happy with it. I hope I can make an appealing video or whatever. And I ran out of things to say. So it was fun making this. Bye.